Okay, we have 1750 points of Orks here. We have one detachment, which is a battalion, and we will be using the Goth clan culture on this army. We started with 9 command points, obviously. However, 3 have been spent, so we're down to 5. But let's have a look at where those points got spent and the rest of the army. Okay, so here are the HQs for this army. Leading it as the warlord is the war boss here. He has a power claw and custom shooter. However, we have given him the killer claw, which is basically a power claw with a kind of a 3 damage output, so no randomness on that. We also basically gave him the warlord trait of brutal but cunning, which essentially gives him rerolled failed hits in combat, but also a +1 to damage when he's charging or has heroically intervened. Also the killer claw allows you to reroll wounds, just in case I didn't say that. The second choice is over here, obviously, and it is a weird boy. We have spent 1 command point to upgrade him to a warphead, so he gets these 2 psychic powers. We've given him warpath, so that gives any a unit that he targets with that +1 attack for that phase, well for that round I should say, and then giving him the jump, because no orc weird boy would go out to battle without the jump, and that essentially lets him move a unit to within 9 inches of another unit on the board somewhere. So that's the HQ choices. Let's go have a look at the troops. And here are our 3 troop choices for this battalion. So let's have a look here. So over here on the right, starting with the larger of the 3 squads, only large by 1 orc boy though. So we have 24 orc boys in here. We have 2 big shooters added in, and also a boss knob with power claw and slugger. So that brings up the total in that squad to 27, not quite 30, but I'm hoping it'll be enough. Then we come over here, which is essentially almost the same, except we have 1 less orc boy, so we're down to 26 in total. We have the 2 big shooters, and then we have a boss knob with big chopper. And then finally over here, another exactly the same squad, except for the boss knob who has a power claw, and obviously we have the 2 big shooters in there. However, that will be 26 strong as well. So let's move on to some heavy choices. So into the heavy section we go. So we have 2 choices for the heavy section. We have a Death Dread mob and a Morkanaut. So, and this is also where 2 of the CP got spent on some custom jobs. So we have the Morkanaut here. He does have the custom force field upgrade, and also he has a custom job for the Gog Claw. So that basically changes the crush profile slightly, essentially giving it a minimum of 4 damage per hit. So pretty good at getting consistent damage rather than the D6, so it can't ever go lower than 4. We then have a Death Dread mob over here of 3 Death Dreads, all armed slightly differently. However, we did do 1 CP upgrade for Dirty Gubbins, which basically gives them -1 to be hit when shot at with ranged weapons. So I'm hoping that might help them survive a bit. However, for the upgrades on each of these, we have first Death Dread here with all the claws, so basically 2 Dread Claws, 2 Dread Saws, I think they're Dread Saws, I think that's correct. Then we have the central one here who has 2 Dread Claws as standard, and then 2 big shooters. And then over on the right here we have another one with 2 Dread Claws. He has a rocket launcher and a Scorcher. So that's the heavy choices. Let's move on to the fast attack. And here we have the elite choices for this army. So we have a squad of 9 Knob Warbikers here. And let's just go here. So we have a boss knob with power claw. Then we have 2 other knobs there with a power claw each. That's 3 in total. Over on the left here we have 3 knobs with big choppers, and then finally over here on the right we have 3 with just standard chopper weapons, or weapons. I mean, obviously one of them's wielding a chain, but I feel orcs they're very similar. And then for the final slots we have here 1 Pain Boy with a kill saw. That's all the upgrades he has, and obviously he comes with the Urti syringe. So that is all of the army now done. Let's just have a little wrap up of what was in it. Okay, so that's the 1750 points of Orks. What have the Black Templars brought to the fight? So facing down the green tide today is the Black Templars, and we have 1750 points in this 1 battalion list. Let's see what they bought. So here we go with the HQ choices for this battalion. So we have High Marshal Helbrecht, the man himself leading the army. So he is our warlord here, and he is obviously front and centre for those of you who don't know his model. He has the Crusade of Wrath rule, which is a 6-inch aura around him, which basically adds +1 to strength characteristics of all Black Templars within 6 inches. Quite handy for getting strength 5 in certain situations. He has also been given the Warlord trait of Frontline Commander, so he gives anyone within 6 inches +1 to charge and advance rolls. So hopefully that will stop me from failing some of my charges, as some of you may have witnessed in the past. He does also have the Sword of the High Marshals, which is a +1 strength, -3 AP, but does D3 damage. However, also, if he charged or made a heroic intervention, he gains an additional D3 attacks from the weapon, and he also starts off on 5 himself, so pretty good. Other than that, he has a combi melter hidden away behind his back on the side there. We then have Chaplain Grimaldus, who is obviously a chaplain. He obviously has the Litany of Hate. I have also given him 2 additionals. So we have the Litany of Devotion, which basically he can target a unit and give them all +1 attack. We then have given him Divine Protection, which means he can also target a unit and give them a 5-up ignore wounds, not just mortal wounds as the Black Templars have as a standard. Yeah, and obviously he does have an Artificer Crozius, which is basically +2 strength, -2, but 2 damage, so it's a little bit cut above the standard one. He also has Unmatched Zeal, which basically means anyone within 6 inches of him who make a unmodified hit roll of a 6 can make 1 additional attack against the same unit using obviously the same weapon. However, it's only melee, obviously, because that's kind of what he's about. And also anyone can use his leadership within 6 inches, which is handy. Well, sometimes he can also, as another little extra bit that he gets, he can resist 1 psychic power in the psychic phase, using a Deny the Witch test as standard. So it's quite handy because obviously Black Templars don't like librarians. And then finally over here we have the Emperor's Champion. So yeah, he's a pretty good unit in my opinion. He's got Sigismund's Honour, which basically gives +1 to the model's strength and attacks whilst he's in 1 inch of any character model, so he's kind of in a duelist kind of setup. He also has Skillful Parry, which essentially causes any units hitting him to subtract 1 from their hit roll. Obviously that will be in melee as well only. He's also the Slayer of Champions. So when he's resolving an attack against another character, he can reroll to hit. And he has the Black Sword, which is +2 strength, -3 AP, and D3 damage. And he can also reroll the attacks on that. Reroll the wound roll, I should say, when fighting characters or monsters. So quite handy in that case. And also he has a 4-up invulnerable. So that's the HQs. Let's go over to the troops. Okay, so troop choices here for the battalion. We have 3 choices, so let's go into them here. We have a Crusader squad here, a 20-man one. So we have 10 initiates and 10 neophytes. Basically all of the standard initiates and neophytes have combat weapons and bolt pistols. The sword brother is going to use a power fist because he wants to get a bit extra punch in there, hide him away, and obviously he has a bolt pistol there. And just at the back there we do have 1 melter gun in the squad just to try and eliminate any vehicular threats that get too near. We actually have a mirror squad of that here, so this is exactly the same. So again, obviously power fist on the sword brother and a melter gun at the back over there, all with combat weapons where we can get them. And then finally a standard bolter Crusader squad back here. The sword brother is sporting a power sword, and we have 1 plasma gun hidden away in there as well. So that's the troops. Let's head on to the elites. So we have 4 elite choices for this army. Starting on the left over here, we have a 5-man Reaver squad with a grav shoot upgrade. Other than that, they have the combat blades and heavy bolt pistols. We then have a relic contemptor here. He doesn't actually have the chain fist, it's just a standard dreadnought power fist. He does have the plasma blast gun hidden away in there as well. And we have the Keris assault cannon. We then have a stock dreadnought, so assault cannon and storm bolter with dreadnought power fist. And then finally we have another 5-man Reaver squad of exactly the same, so we have the combat weapons and heavy bolt pistols. Hopefully a bit of combat coming out of these guys. We also have 2 fast attack slots, and starting these off we have a 10-man assault squad. They all have been equipped with jump packs, and all of them have a chainsword and bolt pistol. The Sword Brother Sergeant is actually sporting a eviscerator and melter bombs. And then for the second slot we have a bike squad, which I don't see very often in my lists, but we have them here. And I've just realised I am missing one bike. I thought I was one short. There we are. So we have five bikes. They've all been given a chainsword upgrade, so they get a bit of extra oomph in combat. However, the Sergeant has been given a power fist, just to give him a bit more damage output. And then we did give it 1 attack bike upgrade, which is a multi-melter attack bike. So we've seen the armies, now let's see the battlefield and the mission. So we are doing Frontline Warfare, which is an Eternal War mission, so no cards in this one. But the premise of this mission has the main victory condition as take and hold. So there are 4 objectives on the table. We have one over here in this deployment zone. We have one over here. We have one over here. And one over here in another deployment zone. Just so you're aware, the Black Templars will be deploying on this side, and the Orks on this side. So each actual point is worth 1 victory point if they control the one within their own deployment zone. So this one will be worth 1 for the Orks, and this one will be worth 1 for the Black Templars. With regards to additional points though, the 2 in the middle will be worth 2 points each, and the 1 if you're holding in your opponent's deployment zone will be worth 4 points. So yes, and then there's also Slay the Warlord, First Strike and Line Breaker. Now we'll go on with the deployment. And now deployment is complete. The Templars and the Orks are on the battlefield. So let's go over the Templars deployment. Over on this side of the board, holding this objective, is 1 Crusader squad with the bolters sitting back here. They've been given the job to hold this objective. We then have the bike squad sitting here ready to lurch forward onto possibly this objective if they get the chance. We have the Relic Contemptor Dreadnought bringing up the rear there. The first of the 20-man Crusader squad sitting here ready to move forward as well. And then in the ruins, the trio of HQs sitting ready to support the Crusader squads as they advance up the board. So we have Grimoldus, High Marshal Helbrecht and the Emperor's Champion all there. Then we have another Dreadnought hidden behind this ruin here slightly, ready to come forward with the Crusader squads that is surrounded by. So that's everything that's on the board for the Black Templars. However, they do have some reserves, and they are over here. And we have a squad of Assault Marines and 2 squads of 5-man Reavers. Now we'll move on to the Ork deployment. Over here we have a squad of Ork Boys on this left-hand side of their board. We then have another squad of Ork Boys in the middle. However, they are perfectly aligned currently with the Morkanauts custom force field. There is also hidden amongst its ranks a Pain Boy, ready to hopefully keep them moving with his slightly weird techniques of medical power. And then we have the War Boss sitting back here as well, along with the Weird Boy, and then another squad of boys filling out this ruin near the objective. And then finally on the right over here we have a squad of Ork Knob War Bikers ready to move forward, possibly onto the objective, or maybe just to cause some chaos. I mean, that's what Orks do. And then also Vicky, who is actually playing the Orks today for the first time, which should be interesting, decided to spend an additional 2 command points to put the 3 Death Dreads in the teleporter. Now, I think that's how it works, because they are 1 unit before they go on the battlefield. Obviously, if that's wrong, let us know. Apologies. So yes, and as I said, this is the first time that Vicky's playing the Orks, so we're going to try and get everything right. I play them more regularly than she does, so I will be helping her a little bit where I can. And at the moment, the Black Templars are the defenders, so they're going second, unless I seize, which I don't. So we'll be right back in a minute with Orks, turn 1. Here we go, turn 1, movement for the Orks. And over here, this boys squad has advanced, managed to get an 11-inch advance, so it's heading towards this objective in the middle of this square here, I believe, or road, I should say. And then this boys squad has also advanced. It got not quite as generous advance, only 8 inches, but it's sort of heading towards this central location here where the objective is. The Morkanaut has also moved up, closely followed by the Weird Boy. Obviously the War Boss is tagging along with his boys here, going to give him some help, I presume. Either that or kill them when they run away, either choice. And then over here, the Knobs on war bikes have moved up 14 inches, which is their maximum range. Haven't advanced, just to get towards the objective, I presume, but also I think the advance wasn't done because it kind of makes it easier for me to charge them if I decide to. So interesting kind of thinking this, because there's not a lot of long range weaponry for either side in this one. So I have a suspicion this is going to kind of descend into a slugfest fairly quickly. However, that is the movement done for the Orks. Let's head on to the psychic and shooting. Okay, so the Weird Boy with the Warp Head upgrade is going to cast the first psychic of this round. So we're going to start with Warpath, which is going to go on to this squad of boys here. So what do we need for that?
Need 7.
I need a 7 for that. So 7 for Warpath. Definitely went off. So they now have +1 attack. And then there's going to be the jump attempt as well. So, and what's for that as well?
7 as well.
7 as well. Ooh. You are getting some plus here as well.
Sorry, my bad.
That's okay.
Reroll that.
4, 5. I'm just going to double check something. Okay, sorry about that. I did actually just want to clarify how much +1 you got for models. Now, it is actually +1 for every 10 models within 10 inches of the Weird Boy, up to a maximum of 3, and there's plenty around him. So the psychic power has gone off on a 7. So we'll back in a bit once they've moved. Okay, so after the jump has gone off, the Ork boys have landed in the middle here. Quite an interesting but probably good choice, because it will mean that at the end of the turn, if they're still holding it, they're going to get an additional 2 victory points for that. So that's the end of the psychic. Let's see what shooting the Orks can offer. Okay, so shooting phase. We're going to have the Morkanaut starting things off and finishing them off, because actually there's no other weapons in range. So yeah, not a lot of long range weaponry in this Ork army. So we have the Morkanaut, which is going to fire basically all the 24-inch weapons into this Crusader squad, and the 36-inch range weapons, which also happen to be the higher strength ones, into the Dreadnought there. So let's have a look how they do. Okay, so we'll start off with the shots against the Dreadnought. So we've got 12 twin big shooter shots coming in, needing 5s and 6s. Okay, so we generate 2 additional hits there, and also the 5s do hit, so let's just take out all the ones that didn't. And then if you want to roll 2 more there, see if you get any. No more hits there. And then you need 5s to wound. Okay, so 2 wounds, so it's no minus though, so I've got a 3-up save on this one. Failed 1, so he's down to 7 wounds. And then we have the custom Mega Zapper, which we have 5 shots for. We already rolled for that. 5s and 6s, we've got 2 hits. Needing 3s to wound, just the 1. -3. No, that went through, so D6 damage. 5, so he's down to 2 wounds. And then we've got some going into the Crusader squads here, so 2 more shots from the rocket launchers into the Crusader squad. No miss. No, don't forget you're not playing Crimson Fist now. So, and then the blaster, Mega Blaster. No, it was almost a 6 as well. So that is the Dreadnought down to 2 wounds and no damage in the Crusader squad. Okay, so the only other bit of shooting that can happen is this squad's 2 big shooters that jumped in can see the Dreadnought event. As it's only on 2 wounds, Vicky is going to try and finish it off. Okay, so we've got 6 big shooter shots coming in. We're looking for 6s here because they didn't actually advance before they were jumped. Just the 1, however, that could generate another hit. You never know. If you roll another 6. No, so just 1 potential wound. So you're looking for a 5-up. It is no minus, so 3-up save. No, so the Dreadnought is down to 1 wound. Okay, that concludes the shooting for the Orks. So the only bit of damage was done was the Dreadnought over here being down to 1 wound. There is no other shooting that can be done. We did measure up and just check a few other bits of fire, but nothing else can really see anything that is in range. So at the end of the Ork turn, we'll now head on over to Black Templars turn 1. Here we are at the end of the Templars movement phase. Down here, this Crusader squad has moved up its normal movement, no additional advances. The Dreadnought has just snuck up behind them as well. However, this squad that was occupying this ground here has advanced up and I've paid 1 command point for Emperor's Will so that it can advance and charge. We're going to attempt it at least anyway. So they've got a 10-inch remove there. We then have the Relic Relic Contemptor Dreadnought has moved up here. I'm not quite sure where I wanted to go because there is some nasty things in the teleporter which I have to slightly worry about. And the bikes have sped up onto this objective here, trying to claim it for their own. Hopefully we'll have it for this turn. And then finally this Crusader squad has decided to stay put on the objective. So I think all the action is going to be focused down here. Let's see what happens in the shooting phase. So the Black Templars bike squad here is going to open up and fire at the boy squad just hiding around that corner. They can see them, so let's get shooting. So we've got 16 bolter shots coming from the bikes here, needing 3s to hit. Oh, that looks actually pretty good. However, we do need 4s to wound because I believe the Orks are toughness 4. So let's see here. So that many saves. You do have your 6-up save. I know you're very happy about your 6-up save.
Disgusting.
That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dead. So that's 6 dead Ork boys. On to the next one. Okay, the only other bit of shooting I wanted to risk was the Dreadnought here, was in range of the bikes all the way over here. So we shot his Keris Assault Cannon into them and we managed to take 2 wounds off, which Vicky put on the rear biker there. Unfortunately, I don't really want to risk shooting anything from over here, mainly because the charge range is quite long anyway. So we'll be right back in the assault phase. Okay, an absolute grand mess in the middle here, and as you can see, both my squads made it in on the charge. In Overwatch, we only took 1 casualty, and that was in the first squad that charged, which was this one over here. We lost 1 neophyte. So let's spin up some combat. Okay, so we're going to start off with the squad that won't be getting any rerolls because they're not in range of Helbrecht. And it's times like this that when you're fighting for the Emperor and you have a lot of dice to roll, you call upon the mighty dice cup of the Emperor, because I have 51 attacks coming from my Crusader squad after making the charge, because they obviously get 1 normally, but 2 for the combat weapon and 3 for shock assault. And we have, we only lost 1 man in that unit. So it's a 19-ish man, 17 men I think was this one. So we're looking for 3s to hit. I love that sound. Just bear with me a minute while I pick these ones out that didn't hit. Okay, almost there. You must like the amount of dice I've rolled here, Vicky.
Looks exciting.
Although saying that, I may be getting this in return in a minute with some of your Orks. I have a suspicion. I think we're almost there. Can you see any more that I've missed? I think that's all of them, isn't it? No, that's good. Yeah, haven't got any exploding rolls or anything like that at the moment, because as I said, none of my characters are actually in range at the moment. So I think these are going to have to go back in the pot. And then we are looking for 4s to wound. Oh, that was a 4. For the Emperor! Just be glad that the Crimson Fists aren't here to see this, Vicky. You know, you fighting.
They can see it, they're right on the edge of the battlefield with the backs turned.
Right, you need that, oh no, sorry, that many 6-up saves. So needing 6s. Oh dear. Okay. So we're looking at 2, 4, 6, 8. These 2 passed. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 dead from that squad. Right, we're back in a second. Okay, so actually I'm not going to get to fight with the other unit because they can't consolidate in far enough to get to the Orks on this side where Vicky pulled them out. So she pulled all the ones out in front here, probably quite sensibly. So I can't actually fight with them anyway. So that leaves just this squad here, which has finished combat. However, I have a suspicion they're probably not going to pass their leadership because they took 18 wounds. So did you want to pay a command point for that? I'm guessing probably not.
Nah.
No, so in that case, the rest of that squad will be removed. And I actually can't do anything else at the moment. So that is the end of turn 1 for the Black Templars. We'll come back in a second, just show you what the scores are. Okay, so that's the end of the first battle round, and this is what the table looks like at the moment. So as you can see, Black Templars are holding this objective back here, one of the central objectives here, and one of the other objectives here. So the two centre ones are worth 2, and the one at the back is worth 1. So that actually gives me 4 points to kick off with. And also, I got first strike for killing that Ork boy unit. So I'm on 5 to currently Vicky's 1 back here. However, I have a suspicion that this part of the board is going to get very messy again shortly, with the bikes having a lovely charge to get into me, along with a Morkanaut, and also maybe some Death Treads might show up. So let's head on into Orks turn 2. Okay, we are at the end of Orks turn 2 movement. Quite a lot of interesting little situations developing here. So first of all, the war boss advanced and also had the boys unit advance here, and they're very in range of the objective and those bikers there. So hopefully they will do some damage. On this side of the board, the weird boy moved as close as he could to this Ork boy unit here to get some additional charge on his warp dice. So basically, because I think the intention is to put Warpath onto the bikers squad down here. The Pain Boy attempted to get as close as possible to the bikes to try and give them that 6 up, ignore wounds, but didn't quite get close enough, sadly. And then, however, over here, the teleporter has activated and 3 Death Dreads have now turned up in my back line. I'm not sure this Crusader squad's up to the task, but they're damn well going to try and do it in the name of the Emperor. And obviously over here, as I said, the bikes have actually moved. They put a screen in front of the Morkanaut, and they've got a lot of shots and a lot of good combat coming in potentially. So let's see how the psychic and shooting goes. Okay, we're starting off with a cheeky smite into this squad over here. So we are looking for a 5 up. Yep, that went off. I'm not going to try and deny that. So let's go with how many wounds you do. So that is 2 dead Marines. I'll take them off in a second. However, I believe you're about to do Warpath as well.
Yep.
Okay, that definitely went off. So I am just going to check a rule quickly. So 1 second. Sorry about that. What I was just checking was how much range that Abor the Witch was, and it is 24 inches. So on a 4 up, I have paid 1 command point for this. I can deny the psychic power. And I have, so no Warpath on that unit. Okay, starting off with some more shooting here. We have the bikes going to fire all of their Daka guns into the squad, but they basically wiped out the other one here. So quite a lot of shots coming in here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so Daka guns going into the Crusader squad, and we are hitting on 5s and 6s. Probably looking for more 6s than 5s, I'd imagine. Okay, well you've obviously generated potentially another 4 shots. Let's just take all the misses out. Give you a hand with that. See, no re-rolls here. We're not a Marine army this time round. Quite a lot of 5s there as well, actually. Well done. And you've got 4 extra rolls, so if you roll 4 more dice, see if any more of them get some extra hits. No. Okay, fair enough. And I believe this is strength 5. So we're looking for 3s to wound here. Ooh, do you have any AP on that?
I'm just checking. Back of gun strength 5, no AP, 1 damage.
No AP, so we're looking for 3 ups. Actually, I'm going to take this on my neophytes, and I've got 9 neophytes left next. I lost one a minute ago, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I'll do 9 dice first in case I lose every single one on the first roll. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dead. Leaving 1 alive on a 4 up. Okay, we have 1 neophyte alive. I'll just take them off. Next up, the Morkanaut is opening up. It's going to actually fire with everything into the squad that's already taken 9 casualties to try and finish it off, to make it a little bit easier for the bikes potentially. So let's see how many they can kill. Okay, here goes the Morkanaut. We've got the twin big shooters coming in first, so hitting on 5s and 6s. Oh, no 6s this time. That's not brilliant. 3s to wound with those ones there. Okay, 3 wounds, no minus, so 3 up saves, because there's only Marines left in there, so 2 more dead. So I'm going to keep a counter over here, just out of camera, just to make sure I don't forget how many. So 2 dead. Then we've got the custom Mega Blaster, I think it was, or Zapper, sorry, the Zapper. Always get these two confused. Which we've already rolled for the number of shots. You've got an extra shot in there. So I don't know if you want to see if you get a hit off that one. Considering almost everything else missed. No, just the one. Does only need a 2 to wound though. Yep, and it's a 6 up save. Oh dear, okay. And then you've got your 2 rockets. 1 extra hit, see if you get the hit. Sorry, I'll let you use that dice. No, so just the 1, and then that is a wound. And no save, and then you have the custom Mega Blaster, Assault 1, which is a miss. And I think actually if you roll a 1 potentially, yeah, I think you lose a mortal wound. So, that is 2 dead Marines. Okay, just to wrap up the rest of the shooting here, the boys squad at the back here shot their big shooters through to this squad and killed off a couple more Marines from there. We then had, over here, this squad attempt to shoot into the bikes but didn't manage to do any wounds. And then finally, the 3 Death Dreads shot their available weaponry into the Crusader squad but didn't actually manage to do any damage either. So, quite a nice shooting phase for the Orks in my opinion. We're about to receive the green tide to the face over here, so let's see what happens in the assault phase. Okay, so we've done all the charges here, so the bikers made it into both of the Marine squads or Crusader squads there quite easily. The squad in between the ruins here made it into the bikers very easily. However, a little bit of mixed bag over here. 2 of the Death Dreads did not make their charges. However, 1 did, and it happened to be the one with the most combat weapons on it. So good for that. However, let's do some combat here. And we're going to start off with the Nob War Bikers against the Crusader squads. Okay, so leading off with the Power Claws here against the larger of the 2 Marine Crusader squads. We need 4s to hit. And as you're playing Goths, 6s are just like in the shooting phase. You can generate an additional attack, so you can roll 2 dice there, see if you pick up any more. And you do pick up 1 there, which is good. And then you need 2s to wound. Okay, that's not so good for me. So 4, well, that's going to be 4 dead neophytes, because I'm not going to bother taking them on the Marines, so I won't be able to get a save against them. So I have lost 4 neophytes so far. We then have 4 normal attacks, sorry, 4 normal attacks? It should be 6 actually, because you've got 2 in there, haven't you? So 6 normal attacks with the choppers coming in. And in fact, actually, because they're choppers, you do actually get an extra 2 attacks on top of that as well. I'm just thinking about it. So you generated 1 6 there, so you can roll 1 of those to try and pick up another attack. Yeah, they all hit. And then you need 3s to win because you are strength 5 with a knob. Okay. So I need 4 up saves here. Because I'm taking these on the neophytes. I lost 1 more neophyte, so I'm down to 5 neophytes now. Then you have 3 big chopper attacks. And so extra for that one, correct. Okay, so that's 3 hits, yeah. And I think these are plus 2 strength if I recall. So just roll for them anyway. Well, that's going to be 3 wounds, isn't it? So just need to check the, apologies to this chat, so I haven't used big choppers for a long time. So I'm just going to check the AP on them. I think it's only -1, but I would like to be 100% sure. It is only -1. Okay, so we need, well, I've still got 3 neophytes left. So these need 5 up saves. So 1 more dead. There's 8 dead neophytes in that squad now. In fact, actually that's all the neophytes dead, pardon me, because I remembered I lost 2 in the shooting phase as well. And then we have the remaining 6 big chopper attacks, which have to go against the other unit because they couldn't get in range of the other one. So you're hitting on 3s. So yeah, that's not too bad. And then you're wounding on 3s as well. Okay, these are -1. I only have normal Marines left, so we're looking for a 5 up save for, 4 up save for these, pardon me, sorry. Oh god, 3 more dead for me. Okay. Okay, next up in the combat phase, we have this Orc boy squad hitting the bikers. They have managed to accumulate between them 68 normal attacks, and then there'll be 4 attacks from the boss knob with his power claw following it up. Okay, so we've actually got 68 attacks coming in with the choppers from this Orc Boy squad. We're going to roll them in a couple of stages because I think the dice tray is going to get overloaded with dice. So here we go. First batch, we have already pre-counted the dice though. So I'm going to pick out any 6s that you get, and then we're going to add them on at the end of the phase. And then if we then take out anything that didn't hit. Oh dear, this is looking bad already. So these have all hit, so let me just get these out and I'll put them to one side, and then you can roll the next batch of dice. Okay, here we go, next batch. Okay, we've got another couple of 6s there. And that many additional hits there. And then your next, do you want to do the last lot all together, I reckon? We are using the cup again. So we've got some more. That wasn't a 6 before, that was a 2. I knocked it. So another 6 there. Any more 6s in there?
Can't see.
No, okay. So I think the only downside of this combat is you're going to be wounding on 5s because they're bikes. And they also have 2 wounds each, I might add as well. So anyway, these are all hitted. And then you need to roll another 2 for 6 more dice for the additional hits that you generated for the Goths rule. Okay, well, that is not too shabby. That was a hit as well, sorry, pardon me. Right, let's put these all back in the tray, and I did drop one on the floor, so I'm going to add another one in there. And then we are looking for 5s to wound here. Love that sound. Oh my lord. Okay, I might want to just re-roll that one. Somewhere in the middle there. Cool, okay. Well, you can help me take out anything that isn't a 5 then. It's amazing the number of attacks you get, and sometimes it looks great and then you start taking all the dice away and then suddenly it didn't look as good. Although I think you've got a fair few wounds here. And don't forget, we've still got the power claw to go in a minute as well. Okay, so I'm looking for 3 ups to save them. Sorry for the mix of dice here, but we have a limited amount of Blacktoad Studio dice at the moment. So we're looking for 3s to save. So we've got, I'm going to take them out in 2. So 1 dead, 2 dead, 3 dead. So you've killed 3 bikes so far. And now you've got 4 attacks coming in with the power claw. And these need 4s to hit. And you've generated an extra 1 there, so do you want to roll for that? Oh, nice. And then you need 3s to wound. Ooh, okay. So 6 up saves here. Past 1. So we've got 2d3 damage. So first one. That is a dead bike. And a 1-on-1 wound. So I think I said 3, so 4.5 dead bikes. And just before we go back into the other fight backs for the other 2 squads, we resolve this combat here because it's all my attacks from this point onwards anyway. So the Death Dread managed to kill 2 and I managed to do nothing back to it. And that means now we're going to move on into this fight over here for my return attacks. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we're going to start off with the attacks on the war bikers here, or the knob bikers, I should say. So first of all, I had to split these attacks up because one of the squads is actually within 6 inches of range of Helbrecht. So they'll be getting rerolls to hit, and they'll also be strength 5. So we're hitting on 3s rerolling here. Unfortunately not in the assault doctrine yet, so no fancy shenanigans with 6s yet. It's coming though, it's coming. Without having anything left to fight with it, we don't know. So needing 3s with these rerolls. Okay. Excellent, and then we need 5s to wound, 4s to wound, because we are equal strength and toughness at the moment. Okay, that's not bad. No AP on that though, so if you want to do your saves, so you have a 4-up save if I recall. So we've got, that's 1 dead biker and 1-on-1 wound so far. Okay, and then we'll do the power fist attacks from that squad as well. So we have 3 from the sergeant, hitting on 4s re-rolling. 1 hit, 2 hits, needing 3s to wound. 1 wound at -3, so you don't get a save, unfortunately. So it's well, don't say that. You've only got 1 wound left anyway, so that's 3 dead bikers. And then now we've got the squad, which doesn't get any rerolls. So these are hitting on 3s without rerolls. I might have to burn some command points here in a minute, I think. Needing 5s to wound. Okay, so that is 4 saves, no minus. So 3 bikers down. And 1 on 2 wounds. And then we have 3 power fist attacks hitting on 4s. Oh, just the 1. 1 wound, yeah? Oh, you don't get a save, pardon me, you only got 4 up, haven't you? Yes, okay. And 1 more wound, so another wound gone off a biker. So that is in total. Okay, I did just review the footage at the end there because obviously you notice I cut off just to make sure I got the count right. It was actually 2.5 dead bikers in total. So that's that fight done. Let's move on over to this fight. So the 2 remaining bikers of mine are going to fight back against the boys' horde. Okay, so against the Orc boys here, we haven't got many bikes left. So we've got the 3 from one of the bikers who has a chainsword. So we're hitting on 3s, 2 hits, and we're looking for 4s to wound. 2 wounds, no minus though, so you've got your 6 up. 1 dead boy, and then we've got 3 Sergeant power fist attacks hitting on 4s, no hits and no rerolls to help. So just 1 dead Orc boy, not looking good for the bikers. Okay, and at the end of that particular phase, I'm going to burn 3 command points just so I can fight again with the squad that is near Helbrecht. So we're going to go in with the chainswords first. And hopefully they're at maximum power because I need to kill some of these Orc boys on bikes or knobs on bikes. So 3s re-rolling. And also just so you're aware, that leaves me on 3 command points as well now. Get these out of the way and just re-roll them. Okay. And we're looking for 5s to wound. So that many saves, please. So one of the knob bikers is on 1 wound at the moment. It's a 4. Oh my god. So you just lost that guy. That was it. And then I've got the 3 power fist attacks as well. So we lost 1 knob biker and everything else is fresh. So we're hitting on 4s re-rolling. 2 hits, 3 hits, 3s to wound. Oh dear. So 1 wound. Oh, you don't get a save.
I don't know.
So, pardon me. And 1 has taken 2 wounds. So that's 1 knob biker down, another one down to 1 wound. So at the end of the combat phase for Orcs in turn 2, over here I did roll my leadership and we lost another 3 Marines there. So they're looking a bit shaky, but there's still quite a few in there, so hopefully they'll be all right. Over here I rolled the leadership for the bikes and we passed by the skin of our teeth. I don't know how much good that's going to do them, but at least they're still there. So that concludes turn 2 for the Orcs. We're now going to head on to turn 2 for the Black Templars. Okay, so here we go, turn 2, end of movement for the Black Templars. I couldn't put any litanies down for Grimoldus because actually all the units were out of the 6-inch range was required to cast them. So essentially he just had to move up and not do anything else other than that. Obviously Helbrecht and the Emperor's Champion have also moved up to join this fray here, so it could get quite interesting in the middle there. The Relic Contempt Dreadnought has made a move this way, sensing that the Dreadnoughts could be causing quite a bit of trouble in the back line over here. Obviously also this Dreadnought has stayed still, keeping his safe distance because he's only on 1 wound. And then the bikers have stayed put. However, it gets more interesting on the Orc back line. I've sensed that the War Boss is currently a little bit vulnerable, so I managed to drop in my Reavers back here just about. Oh, so that should actually be on the mat, sorry, pardon me. However, this right-hand squad does have the option to go for this boys squad over here, and I did also manage to sneak in the assault squad over here as well, ready to charge in and try and go for these 4 points, although I think it's going to be quite a tall order in one turn of combat. Obviously the Crusader squads have all stayed still in the middle here with the bikes. Going to have to try and chew through them with the assistance of some characters. So that is movement done. Let's head on into the shooting phase. Okay, so it's just going to be a recap of the shooting because a lot of it was pistol shots, and I think the combat phase is going to take up a lot of filming time. So over here we had basically all the pistols that could shoot into the biker squad, and guess what? We did nothing. We had Helbrecht fire his melter gun into the Morkonaut, and we actually did a wound on it. However, Vicky saved with the custom force field, so nothing happened there. Over here, the Keris shot into the Death Dread and took 1 wound off. And then I thought, you know what, I'll try and be cheeky and fire 5 heavy bolt pistols into the war boss over here. And yeah, we didn't do anything either. So not that really interesting, to be honest. So we're going to head on into the assault phase and let's turn the pain on. Okay, so we've completed the charges for the Templars in turn 2. Over here, the Reavers made it in with a re-rolled charge into the war boss, just about. Likewise, this Reaver squad made it in with a re-rolled charge into these Orc boys. And again, over here, the re-roll saving my bacon again with the assault squad. So that is not bad on the back line over here. So all the squads I wanted to made it in. Over to this side of the board. So the Dreadnought decided not to charge anything because it does need to deal with these Dreadnoughts probably. Because that's probably one of the only things over here that can deal with it. In the centre here, Helbrecht made his charge with a re-roll, and so did the Emperor's Champion. However, Gmoldus, he's just going to hang out back here because he didn't really find a route through the current combat to actually get into anything without rolling a 12, which he didn't do. So we're back in a minute with the first rounds of combat. Okay, so we're going to start off with High Marshal Helbrecht and the Emperor's Champion fighting the bikes. So we'll do them both together, obviously in the correct order. Okay, we're going to start off with High Marshal Helbrecht here. So he gets 5 attacks normally. He got 1 for Shock Assault, and then I rolled D3 for his Sword of the High Marshals, which gave him an additional 2. So we're hitting on 2s here, re-rolling. No need for any re-rolls. We're not in turn 3 yet, so we're still in the tactical doctrine at the moment. We are wounding on 3s though, because he gets +1 strength from his sword, but also +1 strength from his Crusader Wrath rule. Okay, so we need, actually you don't get saves these unfortunately. One of those bikers on 1 wound, isn't it? Okay, so one of them is actually dead. Okay, and then we've got to do these for, I believe, D3 each. So here's the first one. No, it's 1 alive, and then the next attack will kill it, so that's 2 dead bikers so far. No, still alive. Okay, that's 3 dead bikers, and then the last one, 3 dead bikers and 1 on 1 wound. Okay, I was going to obviously the Emperor's Champion's attacks, but after Helbrecht had obviously done his, it didn't actually leave any bikers near enough to consolidate into. So at the moment he's just sitting out there on that Imperial Eagle. So let's go and do the next round of combat. Okay, so here we are at the end of the combat phase for the Black Templars. So in the middle here, after the attacks that were done from the Crusader squads here, the remaining Knob bikers are now dead. So we have confirmed getting that objective down there. Over here, the Orc boys put an absolute barrage of attacks into the 2 remaining bikes and absolutely obliterated them. So they are now gone. Over this side of the board, however, the Reavers that made it into combat, I think they sincerely regretted their decision. The war boss literally spun round, and while spinning around drove his claw into 4 of them, killing them outright, and we did no wounds despite having about 20 odd attacks. Not brilliant. However, over here the Reavers did make it obviously into combat over here along with the assault squad here, and we managed to take out half the unit of boys there. However, they struck back with a vengeance against the assault marines here, taking 6 of their number out. So it's not looking too hopeful over there that we're going to survive the next round of combat. Obviously we'll see what the leaderships do as well in a minute. So yeah, that is all of the combats. We're just going to do some leaderships and then we'll do a wrap up of the battle round. Okay, so after the leaderships have been rolled, Vicky decided to pay her last 2 command points for insane bravery. So this squad is not having any more casualties. And over here, I managed to pass my leadership roll with ease on a 1. So that concludes battle round 2. Let's go through the scores here. So at the moment, we're currently sitting on 1 victory point for the Orks, but that will now go up to 4 because they hold this one here for 2 and this one over here for 1. And then swinging over to this side of the board, we have the Templars who hold 1 here and 1 over here, which gives them another 3. So that puts them up to 9 victory points overall. So that's the end of turn 2. Let's head on to Orks, turn 3. Turn 3 for the Orks. The movement phase has finished. And over here, the Death Dreads are circling this Crusader squad like birds of prey. Probably not quite as stealthy though. Over this side of the board, we had the War Boss leave combat and move towards the squad of Orc boys between the 2 ruins here. Obviously leaving the Reaver here, kind of probably not thinking too much of him after what happened a minute ago. And the Weird Boy has moved back to basically put himself between the Reavers and the boy squad over here, I think. And the Pain Boy has made a move back this way, trying to get somewhere where he'll be useful, because unfortunately he's just been out of range for assisting Orc Boy units for a little while. So trying to get him back into range. And this combat is obviously resuming over here. And the Morkanaut has stepped up and has moved very close to basically both the units of Crusaders down here, and obviously Helbrecht and the Emperor's Champion are in harm's way potentially, although not quite the closest units. I think they're safe from shooting. So that is movement. Time to do some psychic and shooting. So the Weird Boy here kicking off with a Warpath, which is going to go on to this unit here. So we only need a 6 here because got enough boys in range to make it +1. That has definitely gone off. However, I do have 1 command point left, so I'm going to burn that to potentially deny on a 4-up. No, I didn't. So that command point's gone. I now have no command points left, and also just for the record, neither does Vicky. So this unit here will now have +1 attack, and then we're going to do a smite onto the Reavers as well. Yeah, that went off. So D3 mortal wounds, and that'll be 3 mortal wounds. So 1 dead Reaver and 1 on 1 wound. Okay, so the Morkanaut is going to kick off the shooting phase here. We're going to have a bit of split fire, so we're going to have the big shooters, the Mega Blaster and the rockets going into this smaller squad here, and then we're going to have the Mega Zapper going into the bigger squad over here to try and whittle that down. But hopefully, I think the idea is to try and finish off the 4-man squad. Okay, so we're going to kick off the split fire into the 2 Crusader squads. We have the custom Mega Zapper going into the larger of the 2 Crusader squads. Oh, okay, so you got 3 hits and then you got 2 potential more hits. No, okay, so just the 3, and you need 2s to wound. Oh dear, so just the 2, and I need 6 up saves. No, so I've lost 2 Marines in the larger squad, and then we've got twin big shooters going into the 4-man squad. Okay, so 5s and 6s. Okay, so you need to do 2 more rolls there. Nice, okay, and then wounding on 3s. Oh, okay. 3 up saves because no AP. So that's 4 dead. That is the squad gone. So that is some good shooting from the Morkanaut. Now a quick summary of the rest of the shooting from the Orks. So over here the 3 Death Dreads shot all of their available weapons into the Crusader squad and managed to take 1 more out. They were joined by the boys over here and their 2 big shooters firing in a few rounds. However, they actually missed with every single shot, not 1 6 to be seen. Spinning over to this side of the board, we had the pistols from the sluggers here all go into the remaining assault marines, and they took another 2 out. So it's not looking too good over here for these guys. However, they do still have the Reavers just over here, which hopefully might be able to help out next turn if they're still around. So that's it. We're now going to head on into the crucial charge phase, where I'm thinking there might be a point swing towards the Orks. Orks turn 3 charge phase, and over here we've had all the death treads make it into combat. It was actually some pretty damn good charge rolls, to be honest, nothing under a 10 pretty much, so they have all got in. Over to this side of the board we have a little bit of interesting combat going on here, because we've got the Weird Boy and the Pain Boy have charged in to try and deal with the Reavers here, to try and keep them away from the squad at the back over here, who this squad obviously also has Warpath on it. And then Vicky, after some deliberation, decided to just charge the squad of Crusaders there, to try and obviously force me to do the charge on her next turn, to try and shift that horrible beast off that objective, because I think, although I will be holding it technically to start with. So that is the charges. So we're going to start off with the first combat, which is going to be the Morkanaut versus the Crusaders. Okay, so the Morkanaut is going to hit the Crusaders. It's gone with the smash attack, so that gives it 3 attacks per attack. So we've got 12 attacks coming in. Oh no, that doesn't look too good. Although you do get one, you get an potential extra hit there. So you roll the dice up there. So you're looking for 3. All right, and then you're looking for 2s to wound at -2, if I recall. Yes, it is. 2s to wound. Oh, okay. So I need 5 ups here. This isn't going to be good. Here we go. Okay, so we saved 2, but we've lost 2, 4, 5 are dead. And next up, we're going to have the Weird Boy and the Pain Boy attacking the Reavers. Okay, so we're going to kick off with the Weird Boy here, who's got 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, I think, still. 1 hit. However, you are strength 6, so you're wounding on 3s as well. Yep, and I need a 6-up save to pass this. No, and that's D3 damage, so you need to do 2 to kill one of them. No, so 1 is on 1 wound. Oh, and actually I already had 1 on 1 wound, pardon me, so 1 is dead, so there's 3 Reavers left, and then you've got 4 attacks from your Pain Boy, who's also hitting on 3s. Generate a potential extra attack. Oh, 4 hits, and you have the kill saw here, and I believe he's going to be strength 8, if I recall. He's actually strength 5, so he's actually strength 10, so you need 2s to wound. Okay, I don't get a save. So it's D3 per each one of these, so you need to roll 1 at a time. So, okay, so basically that's 1 is dead from 2 of those, and then this one is, that's 2 dead, 2 more dead. So these 1 Reaver alive. And actually, just excuse me there, all the Reavers are dead because I've got the kill saw as just a base 2 damage. So yeah, that is all the Reavers gone. Okay, wrapping up the rest of combat here, we had the Death Dreads who charged into the Crusader squad. Somehow the Crusaders have just about survived. I did roll a sickening amount of 6-up saves against their -3 weapons. So Dreadnought has just come around the corner there to assist them, although it is only worth 1 point to me, but it's worth 4 to Vicky, that's the point. So we'll swing over to here. The Warpath boys over here absolutely decimated the remaining 4 Assault Marines. Yeah, they're gone. So this area is pretty much now out of my reach, I think. But we shall see. The Emperor's Champion does feel like a bit of a crusade. So that is actually the end of the combat. And the end of turn 3 for the Orks. We're now going to head on to turn 3 for the Black Templars. Turn 3 for the Black Templars, end of movement. Over here, the Relic Contemptor has moved round to attempt to shift some of these Dreadnoughts off, although there are 3 of them and 1 of him. However, he is tough. Moving over to this side of the board, the Emperor's Champion has decided that he's going on his own personal crusade against these Orks over here. It might be foolish, but he's thinking that this objective is worth a lot of points to us. However, Helbrecht and Grimoldus over here have taken up position around the central Morkanaut here and are going to be backed up by the Dreadnought over here. If we can get enough near the unit, we can at least score it by having more models there. So we're going to try and deny it, or at least kill him. So that is movement done. We're now going to head on into the shooting phase. Turn 3 shooting for Black Templars. Just a quick recap here. the Relic Contemptor Dreadnought, while he strided past the opening in the street here, he fired his assault cannon and plasma blast gun into the Orcs, taking out 4 of them on the way past. Obviously everything else is tied up in combat here, so we can't do anything there. The Reaver tried to take a cheeky shot at the back of the war boss, but didn't manage to actually even hit. Helbrecht shot his melter gun into the Morkanaut, which I thought, that's got a fair chance of doing something, and I wounded, and Vicky rolled a 6 on her save for the custom force field. So yes, nothing happened there. And likewise, I overcharged Grimoldus' plasma pistol, and exactly the same happened. And then the assault cannon fired in, and I think we took off 1 additional wound on the Morkanaut. So he is sitting on 16 wounds there at the moment. It's not too bad. Still alive and kicking. So that is all of the shooting. Let's get on to the combat. Okay, so all the charges have been completed and the Overwatch that went along with them. Helbrecht decided to make the first charge because I felt he was the toughest choice to make it in. He took himself down to 3 wounds from Overwatch. There was some really good shooting from the custom Mega Blaster and Zapper, which did most of the damage there. The Dreadnought obviously then followed up and made it in quite easy, along with Grimoldus, who was right next to it. Over to here, we had the Relic Contemptor make his charge in, and he's managed to obviously get into that Death Dread at the back there. I decided not to charge the Reaver at the moment because I felt it would be suicide. And then over here, the Emperor's Champion, oh, you got to love him. He made his charge on 10 inches and got into these boys. I don't know how well that's going to go for him, but we'll see shortly because we're going to start with his combat. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Emperor's Champion here, hitting on 2s. I haven't got any rerolls, unfortunately, because nothing's nearby. Oh, that wasn't good. 3 hits. We are wounding on 3s. Well, actually, we're killing on 3s, to be fair. So that would be 3 dead. And next up, we're going to have Helbrecht, the Dreadnought, and Grimoldus all striking the Morkanaut. Okay, so we're going to start off with Helbrecht charging in. So he's going to have an additional D3 attacks on the charge. So he gets 2 more. So he starts with 5. He gets 1 for shock assault, going to 6, and then 2 extra from his sword attacks. He's hitting on 2s, re-rolling. And because Grimoldus is nearby, any 6s generate an additional attack. But we'll do that in a second once I've done the re-rolls. Nope, so we'll re-roll one of these. And that is that, so they've all hit. And then we are looking for, at strength 6, I need 5s to wound. So this many at -3, so you need that many 6-up saves, please. No 6-ups. So this many D3 wounds. Let's see what we get here. This could be very lucky. So we've done 2, 4, 6, and 8 wounds in total to the Morkanaut so far. So we're going to do the Dreadnought here now. So 4 attacks normally, but he did charge, so he's getting an extra one on that as well. He is hitting on 3s, however he will be re-rolling because of High Marshal nearby. And 6s because of Grimoldus will give me an extra one, so I'm just going to re-roll the 2 first, so pardon me. So it'll hit and then we'll do the extra attack. And that missed, but I get to re-roll it because of the High Marshal. I still missed it. Yeah, so he's going to be strength 14. So it's going to be 3s to wound because I'm not quite double your tough. Actually, no, I am because I've got +1 because of my High Marshal Helbrecht. So I'm actually strength 8. So 3 at -3. Okay, it went 3. So that obviously does 9 damage to the Dreadnought. So that is actually the Dreadnought dead, but
Does he blow up?
does he blow up? Which is Vicky so aptly put me, please don't roll a 6 on this. Oh, I saw the 6. So the Morkanaut has fallen. So end of turn 3 for the Black Templars. The assault phase is ended. Over here, the Dreadnought obviously made it in and took this Dread down to 5. However, the Dreadnoughts all struck back at the Crusader squad and completely wiped it out. So they actually now hold that objective, which is good for them. Moving over to this side of the board, The bit I was a bit worried about was the return attacks from this boys squad on the Emperor Champion. However, he didn't take a single wound. So he was very lucky, but hopefully he can now fight his way through the rest of them. And obviously over here, as we saw earlier on camera, the Morkonaut died, didn't explode luckily, otherwise that could have been quite painful for me. However, we are now holding that objective. So we're right back with a battle round recap. So at the end of battle round 3, the Orks have scored 1 point for holding the rear objective here. They scored another 2 points for here, so that makes it 3, and another 4 for holding the rear objective over here. Very well done getting that. So that gives you 7 points, Vicky. How do you feel about that? That's good. That's good. And as for the Black Templars, we held this one over here now after taking the Morkonaut off it for 2. So that just gives us 2 extras. That actually puts me on 12 points, and it puts Vicky on to 11 points. So it's really close at the moment. So we're going to move on to, actually, sorry, what am I on about? It doesn't put me on 12 points, it puts me on 11. It's actually a tied game at the moment, I'm afraid. I just realised I was on 9. So, pardon me, it's 11-11 at the moment. So, let's move on to turn 4 for the Orks. So here we are, turn 4 for the Orks. Firstly, apologies if you hear any background car noise. I was actually just filming this part through and I kept getting lots of horns going off in the background, so I had to stop. So it was take 2 for this. However, we've got the Pain Boy and the Weird Boy who have made a move over to this unit. So the Aura is now hitting the boys here for their 6 up, ignoring wounds. And then obviously the Weird Boy is now in range for some smiting. Moving over to this side of the board, there's been some tactical decisions made over here. So the Death Dread that was in combat has backed out, so it can have many units shoot at the Dreadnoughts, because obviously there's a couple of big shooters over there. There's also a couple of big shooters back here. So it might be a good idea to try and thin some of his wounds out. So that is all the movement. Let's go on into the shooting phase. Okay, so starting with the Weird Boy in the psychic phase here, we have Warpath going on to this squad of boys. So we're looking for a 7, however it's +1, sorry. No, and that's a perils as well, and you can't do anything about it. So that's D3 mortal wounds onto your Weird Boy. It's just the 1. Okay, he's just taken 1 wound. That's fair enough. However, you are now going to try and do a smite onto the Emperor's Champion. And that just goes off, so D3 mortal wounds on him. Oh, that would have been a 6. Off the table rule, unfortunately. No, just the 1, so he's down to 3 wounds. Okay, so first order of shooting for the Orks in turn 4. We're going to have this Death Dread back here with his big shooters, and also the Ork Boys big shooters down here, all going into the Dreadnought. So that's going to be 12 big shooter shots. So here we go, 12 shots going into the Relic Contemptor. Ooh, well, you got some 6s there. I'll get rid of all the ones that missed for you. There we go, and you get to roll 3 additional dice. 5s and 6s, nothing there. It's toughness 7, so you're looking for 5s. Just the 1, and we'll do his 3-up save. He is fine. Okay, now also we've got 13 sluggers going into the Dreadnought as well from the squad. Ooh, quite a few 6s there. How many have we got there? About 5, so 5 additional rolls. Okay, generated 1 extra hit there, and then you're looking for 5s to wound. Three. Okay, there's no AP on these, so looking for 3-ups. So he lost 1 wound. Now for the rest of shooting, over here the War Boss took a few shots with his custom shooter at the back of the Dreadnought there, taking him down 1 wound, so he is down to 11 at the moment. And over here, the sluggers from all the boys fired into the Emperor's Champion, taking him down to 2 wounds. So that concludes all of the shooting that is available, so let's get on into some assault. So the only combat that we actually have left here is the Emperor's Champion versus the Orks here, so let's do some rolling. Okay, so these Orks are hitting on 4s because it is -1 to hit due to skillful parry on the Emperor's Champion. So looking for 4s through 6s. Ooh, well, There's 4 6s there so far that I can see. I'll lose these. So if you want to roll 4 more dice in a second, and I'll take out any 3s and lower. That's all that up there. Okay, so looking for 4s. Okay, 1 more. And then we need that many. Oh, sorry. You're looking for 4s here as well. All right, that looks pretty good. You've got to get 2 more wounds off him. So, question is, can he survive to fight back? Yes, he is on 1 wound. Although you still got your power fist to go, haven't you?
I do.
So you've got 3 attacks from your power fist. This is, however, hitting on 5 because you're -1 and for the power fist and -1 for skillful parry. Oh dear. 2s to wound. Okay, so I need some 4-ups here. If I fail 1, he's dead. Come on, 4s. No, he's gone. Emperor's Champion is down. Okay, so that concludes turn 4 for the Orcs. The only notable bit of combat over here was obviously this bit here, so that's knocked me off that objective completely, although they were troops anyway. So we're going to head over to turn 4 for the Black Templars. Okay, so turn 4 for the Templars, and things are getting a little bit dicey for me. We've had to move Helbrecht over this way to try and get into these Orcs here. However, the Dreadnought has just turned, not moved, to fire his assault cannon and Stormbolter over this way as well. Also onto this side of the battle, quite a crucial bit here, the Contemptor Dreadnought here needs to at least kill 2 of these Dreadnoughts, or Death Dreads, to enable him to be able to contest the objective. So that is the movement done. Let's head on to shooting. So we're going to start off shooting with this Dreadnought here into the first Death Dread on 5 wounds. Okay, so here we go with the Relic Contemptor. We're going to start off with the Plasma Blast Gun, which I'm going to overcharge. We are hitting on 2s with this. I've taken a mortal wound. So 1 hit though. It is strength 8 on your toughness 7. So we're looking for 3s, which we do get, and that's at -3. So I think you do get yourself a 6-up save, or you take 2 damage. No, so that's 2 damage so far. So it's down to 3 wounds, and then we have the assault cannon coming in. This is hitting on 3s because I did move. Normally hitting on 2s. Ooh, 3 wounds left. 3 potential damaging shots. Strength 7 on toughness 7, so needing 4s. Oh, okay, 2 wounds at -1. So you've got your... okay, so you're down to 2 wounds on the Death Dread. And next up, we're going to have the Dreadnought here, firing through the window of this building into the Orc Boys squad. See if we can thin their ranks. Okay, so we've got 6 shots from the assault cannon. Hitting on 3s because we stood still. No rerolls. All right, 2 hits. And then we're looking for 3s to wound. Both wounded at -1, so although you are in cover, so you will get your 6 up still. 2 dead. And then we have a Stormbolter as well. Both hit. And 1 wound, but you'll get a 5-up save this time. Oh dear. And while we're here, we'll also fire Helbrecht's gun through the door as well. So we're just going to fire his melter. Hitting on a 2, which it does hit. And it wounds. You won't get a save on that because it's -4. So that is 3 dead Orcs. Okay, so we're going to start off with Helbrecht's charge, as he did make it in through the window there. So he is attacking the Orc Boys. Okay, so Helbrecht charged in, and he's got 5 attacks, 6 on the charge, and then D3 additional from the sword. So an additional 2. So let's see. 8 attacks. We're hitting on 2s, re-rolling. Any 6s just go straight through. So 1 went straight through, but we're going to re-roll these 2. Oh, no, actually saying that, I say re-roll 2s. I'll just re-roll the 1 that was there because the others actually hit. So that's still a 1. So we have 1 dead Orc so far, due to the assault rule, and then we're going to have these are going to be wounded on 3s or killed on 3s. So you lost another 3, so 4 dead orcs in total. And then we have the Dreadnought making his charge into the Death Dread. Okay, so we have 5 attacks going through here. We are looking for 2s to hit. Like so. This doesn't apply to vehicles, the Templar rule, so we have 5 hits there. And then we're looking for 3s to wound. There we are, and you need 6 up saves. No, and that's 9 damage. Does he blow up though? No, so that is just 1 Death Dread down. Okay, and now we're going to have the Orks fighting back against Helbrecht. So we've got 9 normal attacks coming in, hitting on 3s, no additional attacks this time around. And then you're going to be wounding on 4s. Oh, nice. And then we'll have his save. Let's double check it is a 2 up. And he is good. And then we've got your 3 power fist attacks coming in. Oh, sorry, 2 hits, right? Again, an additional attack possibly. Oh, 3 hit. Can the power claw do the work? Oh, here we are, 4 up and vulnerable. Passed 1, failed 2, so he's definitely taken 2 wounds at least, but they are D3 each. So 1. No, unfortunately, Helbrecht has fallen, so that gives you Warlord kill as well. Okay, so sadly, my gamble did not pay off, and Helbrecht died to Orc boy attacks from a power claw in this particular case. However, a little bit of sweet revenge during the leadership phase, the Orc boys could not pass and they had died to the last man. So that is their 4 that were there are now gone. However, the 2 units back here are just in range of the objective, so they're still just about holding it. So that actually is going to give Vicky a monster score this turn around. So we have 1 to 3 to 7 points again, because I was not able to complete my objective by taking these Death Dreads out, who are becoming quite a thorn in my side. So that is the end of turn 4. We're now going to turn 5 for the Orcs. Turn 5 for the Orcs, end of movement phase. Over here, the Weird Boy has moved out of cover to get into smite range of the Dreadnought, who's currently sitting on 1 wound. Down here between the 2 ruins in the alleyway here, the Orc boys have made a move forward, obviously having a little look at that Dreadnought. Also, the bonus about them doing that is if they get within range of that objective, they're going to be holding it regardless of what I do with the Dreadnought. So that is all of the movement. Oh, except for the War Boss also moved up behind them as well, I might add. Let's head on into Psychic and Shooting. Okay, Smite being cast from the Weird Boy here onto the Dreadnought. So we need a 5 here. There's no bonus at the moment because there's no boys nearby, so that is there. However, Grimoldus can deny a Psychic power, so I've got to be a 7. No, I did not. So that is D3 mortal wounds onto the Dreadnought. Just the 1. However, I do ignore mortal wounds on a 5 up for being Black Templars. So it's on a 5 up roll hit. Ah! Okay, the Dreadnought still lives, just about hanging in there by a thread right from the beginning as well. So that is the Psychic phase done and dusted. And a quick recap of the shooting in turn 5 for Orcs. Basically everything in this area all shot into the Contemptor. As we go around here, you can see he's currently on 9 wounds. That was courtesy of the big shooters from this Death Dread here, taking him down 1 more notch towards death. So that's all the Psychic done. Let's head on into the combat phase. And that's all the charges done. As you can see here, this Dreadnought is now fully wrapped by all the units. We're going to go straight into the 2 Dreadnought attacks here, going into the Relic Contemptor. Okay, 8 Dreadclaw attacks going into the Dread, hitting on 3s. Looking for some nice 6s here. You got, oh yeah, they all hit, and you got 2 extras as well for the Goth rule. 1 more hit there. I'll just change that with a slightly larger dice. There we go. And then you are double, so you need 3s to wound. Actually, sorry, what's your base strength, pardon me? Strength 5. Oh no,
Strength
yeah, so
5.
it is 3s, yes. Always forget they're only strength 5. Okay, so that's quite a few wounds. It's -3, but I have a 5 and vulnerable. So we'll also be taking that. And we passed 2, but we failed 4. And how much are these each? These are just a flat 3, aren't they? So it's 3, 6, 9. He is dead. Does he blow up? No. So that is the end of the Relic Contemptor. So that's the end of turn 5 for the Orcs. And obviously my last chance over here has died. Too many Orc attacks flying into him. There was no other combat on the board. We are just going to quickly just finish off turn 5 for the Black Templars just to complete the game up, but we probably will not be going past turn 5. Okay, with the last few shots, the Dreadnought moved up and fired everything into the weird boy, absolutely killing him. Bit of a bittersweet ending though. So that is also the end of turn 5 and of the game. We'll be right back with the scores and the wrap up. Okay, so in the last turn there, the Orcs absolutely ran away with it, scoring another 7 victory points for holding the back point over here for 4, the middle point here for 2, and still holding this one over here for 1, and also gaining line breaker for the Dreads over there in my deployment area. I did claw 1 point back at the end by getting line breaker here for hiding my Reaver at the back. So Vicky ended on 27 and I ended on 14. So, interesting little game. I actually thought I might win it at one point because it was starting to look like it was steamrolling my way, and then everything over here went completely pear-shaped. The Dreadnought did not do what I needed it to do, and I think I left this side a bit too exposed personally. But overall, I actually had a really fun game because it was nice to get some nice bit of combat going. I will point out that I did note that I made a couple of mistakes by not really rolling for 5 up mortal pain saves. However, I don't think would have actually mortal pain. Mortal wound saves for my Emperor Champion. However, I don't think it would have made any difference anyway because he died to the combat that came that round anyway by multiple wounds over what he had. So if you did notice that, apologies, my bad. How did you find your first time playing Orcs, Vicky?
It was really cool. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Vicky, for those who don't know, Vicky obviously normally plays Crimson Fist, so playing Orcs was quite a tough decision for her. However, we just wanted to try something a little bit different, and Vicky doesn't actually normally play any kind of combat army, so I made both of our lists to try and maximise getting things into kind of combat, which I hope everyone enjoyed because I don't normally see it quite a lot, to be honest. As for myself, I think the other mistake I made over here was not sending 2 units over there straight away. I kind of fed 2 of my very high value units piecemeal into that building over there, which wasn't very sensible, to be honest. So yes, that is the end of the game. So first of all, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you can join us on the next one. This is Tom from Blacktoad Studios. See you soon.